Hey guys, it's Arl from Arl House, and today we are going to change the oil on this brand new machine. Reason being, I'm not sure what they put in there, and from everything I've read, at least on the Chinese excavator forums regarding the more inexpensive ones, not always the best oil. So we will be putting in Kubota oil, Kubota branded oil, and Kubota filter. Now maybe that's oil overkill. I probably could have just used a premium diesel oil and premium filter, but I've got a Kubota in here, so I'm going to give it the Kubota Works, and in the future we'll see whether I stick with that or not, but for now that's what we're doing. Now, I picked myself up this handy dandy apparatus right here, and if you haven't seen one of these, this is a Venturi oil extractor from John Dow. I paid for this out of pocket. I've got no affiliation with them. I've got to tell you, this thing is pretty neat. I always make a mess out of oil changes, and I was determined not to do so anymore. So I picked this sucker up. So I'll show you how it works. The first thing we got to do is connect the shop air, which is right here. Now I've already set my compressor up, and it's hard to see behind the filters, behind the drill press, but it's set up for about 125 psi. For the extraction, I'm sorry, it's set up for about 110 psi. It says in instructions anywhere between 100 and 120 max is what to do. So you've got two hoses. This one here is the extraction hose, and the other is the discharge hose, which we'll try that later. I have not actually discharged the oil yet from the prior one, but I did, and you can see there's some residual oil in here. Do an oil change on the other machine with this. So the first thing we've got to do, or second, is to create a vacuum in here. And the way to do that is to turn these two valves on. What you'll hear is the air escaping from here, and we need the gauge to get up to the working area, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll get this one on, and this one, and there we go. We'll watch the gauge climb. Now my compressor might kick on, and if that's the case, I will edit that out so you don't have to hear a noisy compressor running. Now look at that, we still got some of the oil from before coming back up. We're in the green, but I want to get it as far in the green as I can, just to make sure I've got plenty of vacuum, because this definitely ran out of some vacuum when, which is why there's still some residual oil making its way up in the hose. All right, so we're just about where we need to be. We shut both of those off, and next thing we got to do is find the proper dipstick insertion tube, which I'm kind of cheated since I did it yesterday. I happen to know the green one works the best. Let me put you guys up here. And then, and over, kind of like that. We'll use that to sort of balance against. Put my dipstick down so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to open up this valve here, and it starts the extraction. Now, you should start to see oil make its way into the tube here. Now, it's not the most exciting thing to watch oil being sucked out, but hopefully it'll start flowing soon. Hopefully also the fact that I had oil in tube before isn't going to make any kind of difference. Let's see, because I don't see anything coming out yet. Let's see if this helps it at all. All right, nothing. Is it not coming out? Oh, I see some. There we go. It just starts. This whole process takes a while. I bet you I spent better part of 20 minutes maybe waiting for the last one to evacuate. But slowly it starts to build. It makes its way all the way up. Oh, and here we go. We've already lost working vacuum. All right, well, I guess we're going to shut this off again from here. Get that off. Let's get this back on. Get that vacuum back up. Which it's definitely doing now. It's sucking what we had in there out. That may have been part of the problem, was that there had been liquid in there already. Let's get this sucker all the way up as much as we can. Maybe just continue to suck out what's already in there. This is creating quite a vacuum, and this stuff is flowing up there pretty good. Hoping that makes a difference. Let's shut this off before we get into the red. All right, how much we got left in here? There's enough, and of course it stopped flowing. And what's the vacuum doing? It's staying. But let's see what happens here. Let's get this turned back on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's creating suction now because it is flowing down from there through the tube. And this is still creating, this has got some good suction here. Some good, I guess, Venturi action, whatever you want to call it. So let's let this whole thing change, and I'll get back with you when we're done with that. All right, we're back, and as you can see, there's no more oil in that part of the line. It's whatever is left settled in there, and we're down to nothing. And actually, I did add vacuum to this once towards the end when I was extracting the oil. But for all intents and purposes, we're done. We're going to turn this off now, and before we do the oil change, we are going to get the oil out of here and into here. Again, first time I'm doing this. I was so intrigued by this thing after probably close to 30 years of making oil messes. No matter how clean I tried to be, was not really that successful. So far so good, at least on the extraction side. So I've taken the plug off the bottom of that. We are putting this end in here. And these are supposed to be off. All these valves are supposed to be off, including the one for the gauge, I guess. And then we're taking the shop air and now putting it on this one, which is, let's see, that one is closed. So we put it on here. Now, just to double check one thing here, because we got two valves there. One for the extraction and one here over there. So let's see. It says emptying hook end, put it in the used oil collection tank. We did that. Close all ball valves except the ball valve below the evacuation hose. That's this one, ball valve E. All right, so we turn that on. Okay, so we've done that. And then open the tank ball to valve D. Okay. Now, I've already put this down to 10 psi on the compressor. There wasn't any point in showing you that, but let's open this up and let's hope this does not spill all over the place. Let me put you on the tank here. You can take a look, and I'm going to make sure that this hopefully does not make a huge mess. Oh, I see it coming out the hose. Let's see how it goes. Look at that, I rhymed. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, check that out. I'm going to just hold it here, because Murphy's Law is the minute I just rest it in here like this, it will have a way of coming out of there, getting onto the floor, and continuing to spew oil all over the place, which is the exactly opposite of what I wanted. Okay, here we go. It's like this thing is belching. I saw somebody on YouTube operating one of these for the first time. It was like a tool guy who was reviewed tools, and he had to stop midstream because he opened up the wrong valve and made a mess of his workbench. I was determined not to be the same guy on my channel. All right, looks like I got a little bit more coming out here. Yep, and once I blow that out, I can shut these suckers off, and we can get the oil change on the machine. Get a 2-for-1 here, an oil change on a 722, and a little bit of a review on the John Dow fluid extractor. I got to tell you, I like this thing, and I would definitely recommend it. Even though it's a little on the pricey side, if you're going to do enough oil changes, which I think I will, plus all the other stuff I've got around here that's got to get fluid changed, it's kind of worth it. All right. You could probably see there is not much more coming out, a little bit here and there, but I think, yeah, there we go. For all intents and purposes, we're done. So, maybe give it another couple of seconds here. All right, let's shut this valve off. Shut this off. All right, and I like this. It's got a nice cap on it, so you're not going to get oil all over the place. Okay, last thing I do before we do the oil change, put this on, and now I can officially claim to have done this without making any mess, although the day's not over. And I still got to pour oil into the, probably should not have said that too early. All right. So, all right, we're back here, and it will be time to get the extraction tube out of here. Oh, came right out there. I gotta say, this is cool too, because you can put these guys right down there. Any oil that's left in them goes into this little tube, and then you can pull this thing out on the bottom there and drain it out separately if it ever starts to build up. Meanwhile, cap this sucker back off. Pull the shop air out over here. There we go, get rid of that. And in theory, if one of these things pops off, I should be good to go without having made any mess. Okay, there we go. All right, I already pulled one of the, I put my oil down over here. What we're using here is Kubota 1030. This takes almost 3 quarts. It's 2.8 or so with an oil, with a filter change. I had already pulled out the filter, and then I thought to myself, hey, you guys might want to know what the filter number is, so here's one I haven't opened, and just for reference, that's the filter number for this. So if you need to do one of these yourselves, that's what you can use. Okay, let me get my bucket of discarded oil filters and oil containers. Again, we're going to try to do this as cleanly as possible as well. All right. This thing likes to really move around here. Okay. Put this back in. Now, just from experience yesterday, having taken the other one off, it was on more than hand tight, or it was hand tighter than I was able to get it off, so we're gonna use this. I got a bunch of different oil wrenches over the years, and I like this one the best. This thing has, as long as you can get it in, works out well. It's snap-on, and I like snap-on when I can get it, but I definitely got this thing from a garage sale. And it's really come in handy quite a bit. You know, just a couple of tugs like that, and then we can go like this. Based on yesterday, oh, look at that. Take much to get that paint off, does it? All right, should be almost out. I'll give you a comparison in size between this one and one coming off, which who knows what brand this was or is. And there's the one, there's the other. You can see it's probably about 1.5 times bigger, the actual Kubota one. Since we know this oil is clean, we'll just use this a little bit in here to lube that up. Get rid of this down here. And let's get it on. Well, get it on, maybe that's not the best terminology. But how about this? Let's thread the filter on. I think that's more appropriate. I always think I got jokes. My wife doesn't think those are so funny. All right. So, filter is hand tight on. Use the rag to catch the oil, and we'll just kind of come up here. Oil goes right up here on top. I'm not sure what I'm going to do eventually with these with the fuel filter. And you got the fuel filter water separator there. There's another filter inline here. And you know, toyed with the idea of maybe putting another one in, a different one in. But I got to see what may or may not fit there. I'm not sure. We'll see how it works for now. And I'm sure this is super interesting, watching me pour oil into a Kubota valve cover. But I promised an oil change, and an oil change is what you're getting. That includes pouring of the oil. I wish that the filter, well, in some ways I wish that it was vertical so I could have filled it with oil, because I like to do that whenever I can for when you first run it, but obviously that's not practical. Two down, and most of another one to go. Now I'm going to eyeball this a bit, because based on yesterday, right about here, more or less, is where I got to go. We'll go to 200, on the 200 mark, and then from there, I'll start checking the dipstick. It's all right to put a little extra in there, only because it's got a fill the filter. All right, where are we? Nope, quite to 200 yet. All right, getting close, just a hair more. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the dipstick. If I don't put that top on, I'm gonna spill it everywhere. Okay, let's get it in there, get it out for the camera to see. Actually, we're right on the money there, just at the top of the fill line. I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna get the cap on here, and let's start this sucker. Now I gotta say, as far as the engine noise on this, it is a whole lot quieter than my Massey Ferguson. That's definitely a bigger engine, the Iseki engine, but it is 3-cylinder nonetheless, and quite a bit louder. I'll do a decibel test in the future, who knows. All right, let's get this down. Now to release this, we've actually got to kind of come up here. How's this go? And what do we do here? Why is this? There we go. This is sort of catches a little bit here. There we go. It goes down like this. I saw something hanging down here. Oh, just a seatbelt. Okay. So we're good to go. Let's make sure the oil pressure light. turns off, or I don't know if it'll even turn on. And the thing is, I think if you saw the first video, you realized I was not too wise on how to start these things, but I know that both of the pilot arm rests, or whatever you want to call them, have to be up in order to do it. So here we go, switch. You can hear it going on, the pump, and let's go. All right, so we got the battery light on. That battery's still probably charging a little bit. Now we got their voltage. Now I saw RPM come up on here initially, but I don't think there's a tach. Okay, there's your hour meter. It's cycling through. It's actually cycling through everything. Fortunately, that's still stuck with the float, but here's your voltage here. It's 1.5 hours on it so far. So I guess that was the time that they had it at the factory. But you can tell, it hums along. It doesn't make much noise. It's a hell of a lot quieter than a Briggs & Stratton or a Ratto or whatever. You know, right now it's on turtle speed. If I bring it up a little bit. Not bad, not bad. All right, I think that'll do it for today. Again, if you like this content, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. In the comments section, leave me any comments about what you'd like to see, or anything else kind of related to this. And I think on the next one we will do some greasing. But I think that'll wrap it up for today. Goodbye for now.